Welcome back to Grove Hill Church, to our podcast here. We're excited to have you back with us. This is going to be episode 3 of what has been our continuing conversation regarding social media. And this is the part of the conversation where we balance it out, kind of like Fox News.
Yep.
Fair and balanced. That's us. We want to talk about the advantages of social media, but the key word here, I think, is wisdom. Being wise and discerning in how you use it, what you use it for, those kinds of things. So just kind of want to start the conversation right off the bat. When you hear wise use of social media, what are some of the things that come to mind for you?
It's a platform to get the truth out. And so in the same way that it can be used to spread negative things, it can spread positive things if we're doing it properly. So you put the gospel out there and hundreds of people see it within seconds. And so it's an avenue to spread the word.
Yeah, it's a huge tool for communication.
Right?
Yeah, I want to give a highlight to our church, the attenders of our church. Was it like 22,000?
Yes, I know what you're talking about.
2,000 hours?
Yeah,
or
it was on the Bible.
passages?
Yeah, Bible app, yeah.
So things like that, and kind of the birth child of a church that started this, decades ago, and they saw the need to put the Bible in, a digital platform. As much as we're like, man, I've grown accustomed to, man, I love the digital, but I love this even more. Like, there's nothing comparatively speaking, but I think it's been a good avenue.
But like
for sure.
for people who drive a lot, they love
Yes.
that accessibility that the Bible is. They can just listen to it in their car or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
Unless you are in ministry like we are and in the day-to-day of it, you may not be aware of this, but most, and I'm saying an overwhelming number of people today, find their church home, their new church home, by going on social media
Yes.
first.
Yes.
For sure.
Whether it's a Facebook page or a live stream of the service or
Most
something of that
definitely.
nature. Some of the bigger churches who have the staff to maintain it have Instagrams, TikToks, they use it all.
Yeah.
So, yeah, absolutely. It's a great tool for sharing the gospel, sharing good news, offering hope to people, encouraging them, those kinds of things. What are some other areas where you have seen it used well?
Encouragement. I've seen it whenever it's used right. Whenever Facebook in the very first form of it, and the way that I like to try to still use it, I know it's very difficult, but the way that I like to try and use it, being kind of an out-of-town guy, this is my home now in Tennessee, but that's the way I catch up with family. Whenever I'm looking back to, what they're doing in Oklahoma, what's going on with my nieces.
Right.
And I love to go look on there, and I also love to see the encouragement in the body of Christ, where it's others spurring on others. And it's just stuff like that I think is still good.
Yeah.
That's one of my favorites because I do come from a very large family, most of which are minimum, 6 to 8 hours away. So I still kind of, it's weird to say it, but I get to celebrate birthdays with them. I get to know what's going on, getting married, having children, those kinds of things. You just don't get to do that very much. We live in such a mobile society. It's very rare to see people like you who had roots in a community for a very, very long time. I mean, I've been here 7 years. You've been here 4, and you've been here
7.5.
I've been here for 20. Kids been here for 47.
You and I are considered long timers in the community nowadays.
No.
You're just a rare breed.
Well, I mean, but even us with our family still being right here, we can still share things on social media that we don't normally. No, nobody writes letters anymore. Everyone does, Facebook things, and so we still get to see pictures of our family.
One of my favorites, and I know she's going to laugh when I say this because she knows me so well. One of my favorites is just learning things, trivia, facts. I wear these people out with all this stuff. I know I do. They probably grit their teeth when I come in and go, "Hey, have you heard this?"
Yes.
But there's things that you learn. Stop it. There's all kinds of things you learn, and I'm one of those that I'm constantly wanting to learn. And as much as I love reading, sometimes it's easier to sit down and read a synopsis of something without having to go through all of the actual pages of a document. You get to learn about people's history. You get to learn stuff that different.
And quickly.
And quickly.
You don't have to go to a library and check out that book and get the card and write your name on it and all the things. It's a quicker way to get things done.
Something else that I have noticed too, back when I was really engaged with social media, is it's a cool way to find out some of the hidden talents of your congregation.
That's right.
Yeah.
Some of the people who write for us some things sometimes, I will read their post and go, "You really have a gift for that.
Yeah.
You should be doing this.
Yeah.
Or somebody who posts them just aimlessly singing in the kitchen at their house, and you're going, you should be on our stage.
Yeah.
You're not just
Yeah.
a normal singer.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Definitely.
So those
So
are
be
cool
careful what you
aspects.
post.
Yeah, might be recruiting yourself.
They come back to
or
bite
something.
you.
Yeah, so that's cool. So obviously, it's like anything else,
Mm-hmm.
and we've been talking about this. We'll continue to talk about this. There are many good things in our culture, or even neutral things, that can become bad if you don't practice discipline.
Yeah.
Right.
It's like anything else. I'll be the first to confess I have a chocolate problem. You know,
What?
it's a good thing, and
Oh yeah.
without discipline, it becomes an issue. So there's all kinds of areas where that falls into place. So what are some of the practices that you would throw out there? As you say, okay, if you're going to get on social media, and here you are, we're working with students and saying to your students, okay, if you're fixing to get a phone for Christmas and you're going to start social media, here's where I would tell you to start. Let's set some rules for yourself.
Yeah, so it's extremely hard, and I've gone back and forth and even talked to you guys about it and got counsel on it. The Student Life Instagram page is highly beneficial. If we post a video of the gospel, it's very likely that it's going to get 8,000-10,000 views pretty quick. And so I like that, but then also it almost encourages students to be on Instagram, and then there's so many hangups on Instagram. And so I'm kind of broken on whether I even want to have a page at all. And so if I just discourage anybody to even get the social media, or if we train how to engage. Training how to engage is, you have to be very strict, because even casually browsing, you are going to see pornographic material like that.
Yes.
And so is that an area we even want to go? And if we do go there, it has to be extremely regulated, and you have to be accountable to it. And so, yeah, it's a ongoing conversation on how involved I am actually in it. So currently, I don't have either one of them because of that reason.
Yep.
I mean, I think the biggest thing that I've done in little sprinkled efforts here and there, because to say that you're going to have all these under your watch to cold turkey everything, it's hard. You want to get them there. And I think the one thing that I've emphasized, find things of value in wherever you're looking, because you will eventually find that in this place, the social media space, a lot of times there's little value.
Right.
So with little value, have little prioritization on it, because some people, they'll put such a high priority rating on, man, this is my, what's my clout? I didn't even know what that word meant until like a year ago. But all these things, they put so much emphasis on, what am I looking like to the rest of the world? And you should be saying, what am I looking like in the presence of God?
Right.
And so that's where the differentiating kind of thing comes, is we can't have the expectation, I think, that everyone's going to cold turkey, but man, we want to get them there to where they're not putting the emphasis as high as they should.
Yeah, I looked this up before we started, and it's 1 Corinthians 6:12. It says, everything is permissible for me, but not everything is beneficial. Everything is permissible for me, but I will not be mastered by anything. And I think that's a part of it. Like when we get social media, a lot of times it becomes everything.
Yeah.
And we're consumed, we're addicted. It's where we find our identity. It's where we look for other people's identity and who they are.
Yeah.
And so if we could entertain the idea of it and just be another little resource of how to stay connected with family, how to get the gospel out, but keep it there and not let it overcome our life, there's still potential for it to be beneficial.
Yeah.
You want to add anything there before we move on?
I think it's like what we talked about before. We have to teach our families, our kids, even our adults. We have to teach them how to use it properly and why we have it. Keep it focused on gospel conversations, and you're keeping up with your family. And if you like to look up recipes, great. But if you start getting distracted with, oh, look at this person's brand new car, look at this person's beautiful decorated house, whatever, that's where it gets a little hairy. We just have to teach ourselves and remind ourselves, this is the why. This is the purpose of it, and keep focused.
And if it's not something you can manage properly, it may be something you have to cut out completely.
Yeah.
Right.
Can we encourage people to go into a bar but not drink? How
That's
far do you
true.
how far do you allow someone to get to temptation? And in some instances, we don't go near the bar, right? You have to draw a line, and so it's really up to you and where your struggle is, where your downfall for sin is, and then being able to keep it there and not allow temptation in.
Yeah.
So I'm glad you brought up that verse as we were getting ready to go online, because it kind of, to me, framing the discernment it takes to properly use social media starts with that idea. Everything's permissible, but not everything's beneficial. So you start asking yourself the question, is this redeemable as a good thing?
Right.
Can I use this time? I think another verse that I want to read here in just a second kind of frames the other side of it. You put it into parentheses. It's Ephesians chapter 5, 15 and 16. It says, pay careful attention then to how you walk, not as unwise people, but as wise, making the most of the time because the days are evil. If I could walk up to you on the street, complete stranger, and say, I have a magic potion that could give you back 8 hours of your week, most people would pay money for that. They would say, man, if you could extend my week 8 hours, I could get more laundry done, I could get this, and I'd have time for hobbies, I'd get more sleep. No, we would probably take it and we would spend it on things that just don't matter.
Right.
And that's what most of us do. And so the Bible even encourages us, make the most of the time you've been given. And to your point, man, if we took that thing and threw it in the trash can, we'd find we'd have a lot more hours to our week.
Yeah.
Same thing's true with the TV. I
Yeah.
mean, your TV is
yeah.
one of those mindless things where you can sit down and you can spend hours, you look up and suddenly you're going, where did my day go?
Right.
Yeah.
So I think it's just it comes down to a lot of basic common sense, but unfortunately even some of the smartest of us forget we have that common sense, and we shrug our shoulders and go, where did it all go?
And I think we like to give ourselves plenty of excuses.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, really, even the best intentioned, where we're trying to direct kids away from that, even us as adults, we're like, well, hey, we pay bills on this. Well, hey, this is, well, I don't really deal with the computer. This is my computer.
Yeah.
And I think we have to be more intentional, because without intention towards the direction, you know, we don't have any good direction that we're going. So
Well, I mean, like, this podcast is on people's phones.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, like, I mean, we're talking about something, but they're using what we're talking about. So it's again, just figuring out what is beneficial for you versus,
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I think that's a great thing. Lisa taught me this a long time ago. She taught me a lot of things, but this one's
Good job,
important.
Lisa.
Yeah, way to go, Lisa. This question you can ask yourself as families when you're considering things: is it life-giving or life-taking?
Oh yeah.
You know, there are a lot of places I can go on social media and I can look at you in the eye and honestly say, that was life-giving.
Yeah.
I was encouraged by that sermon I listened to,
Yep.
really enjoyed that podcast, that music was uplifting. All of us can find those places, but the truth is, if we were really sincere about answering that question, most of the time we would go, I just wasted 30 minutes of my life watching
Right.
YouTube videos.
right,
Right.
You know?
right.
So I think it's a legitimate question that we should ask, not just with social media, but many of the things that we do in our life. Even places where we volunteer our time or we engage with other friends in the community. Am I really given any life in that? And that doesn't mean you need to be selfish. I mean, sometimes it's not so much that you're getting life, but you're giving life to somebody else by your involvement in them. But I think it's a great question to ask.
Yeah.
Something to look at is what you're exchanging for that time. And so if you spend, let's just say, this is probably conservative, 2 hours a day scrolling, because a lot of the students have, you know, screen time of 6 to 8 hours a day. But if you have 2 hours of scrolling, what else could you be doing with that? If you're out of shape and overweight, do you have 2 hours of workout time? You don't, right? And so how are we tending to ourselves? How are we tending to our relationships? How are we tending to our scripture reading? Whereas the Bible app might have our verse for the day for 1 minute, and social media has an hour and a half of our time.
Yes.
What are we exchanging for that time?
Yeah.
I think sometimes we have to also, and we're weighing these things out, to look beyond the immediate results and look long term. Back in one of the earlier episodes, maybe episode 1 or 2 of this conversation, we talked about how damaging it's been to young people that they can't have face-to-face conversations with people because they are buried in these things. Relationships, no doubt, are hurting this day and age because of people getting on and comparing themselves to other people and the outcomes of those. And so I would argue that the mentality of our culture today, where you cancel everybody who disagrees with you, is a byproduct of what happens on social media.
Oh,
Sure.
yeah.
Where you
for
just
sure.
go in and you just delete people or unfriend them or unfollow them
Yeah.
just because you don't agree.
Yeah.
I worry about the next generation if they don't somehow find a way to overcome that.
Yeah.
Because everything from diplomacy to counseling, all those things are going to go out the window if we can't handle those kinds of
Well, and I've seen a lot of little kids that they want their parents' attention so bad because their parents are scrolling.
Yeah.
And that breaks my heart because it's like, okay, they're never going to be this age again. Put your
Yeah.
phone down and be with your kid. I mean, they'll be shopping or doing anything, and they just give the kid the phone.
Yeah, I've done that. I've had my son trying to
occupied.
ask me 3 or 4 different questions, and I'm like, later, as I'm scrolling. And,
Yeah.
and
Right.
then
Oh, absolutely.
And then I lay my head down at night and go, what am I exchanging that for,
Yeah.
right? Like,
exactly.
what is the value in what I'm holding in my hand, even if it's texting you guys,
Oh, yeah.
right?
Right.
What's the value of holding this in my hand if my son doesn't get my attention? And
Right.
so weigh it out. Look at it and weigh it out.
Yeah.
Because we like to pick on the younger generation, but it's really
We
us
do.
adults
we
too.
do, and it's our problem.
Yeah.
I mean,
and I would say
truthfully.
too, you know, in another area, and we've talked about this before, but I just kind of keep coming back and underlining it. I think every one of us would realize there's no real good common sense choice to run through a minefield.
Right.
But when you get on social media, that's exactly what you're doing.
Right.
That's true.
And a couple of guys that I have talked to just in the last couple
Yeah.
of weeks coming to me going, man, my porn problem's back, the lust problem's back. Well, we start narrowing down what the issues are.
Yeah.
Well, I was scrolling on this page the other day and half
Yep.
a dressed
Yeah.
woman came up. And so, again, why expose yourself to that stuff?
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is like the SOS for any app developers or any other developers of Christian related things. Man, we've got plenty of people that want to direct you to a way where there's introduction of pornography.
Yeah.
Because I think I mentioned it earlier on another episode. Facebook, I don't think their intention in the first
No.
outset was, hey, we're gonna,
Right.
we're gonna
Right.
show pornography. You
No,
know, they
not
wanted
at
to
all.
connect college students to college
Yes.
students.
Right.
Instagram, I think as you've gotten in the last decade and a half, that's probably a part of their message is they're saying, we can sell this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
we're
yeah.
going to go pay for
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
And so we've just got to have more people that are going to stand up in the public forum, in those web spaces that are going to say, we're going to stand for Christian beliefs, and we're going to minimize our emphasis on these things and put them back on the family, back on the home, back on the time with the kids, where there's true value and true residual, things that'll show 20 years down the road.
Yeah.
Well, and you see more streaming services now that are Christ-centered and are
Yeah.
more protective for your kids, more now than, when my kids were
Yeah.
little, for sure.
Right.
There's so many different options. Minnow Kids, Right Now Media, there's so many different things that parents can use that if your kid's going to watch a show, make sure it's safe.
Absolutely.
And here's some safe options.
I've made that conscious decision. Sometimes I'm like, even the history documentaries that I love to watch.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, hey, I could win a Jeopardy competition with this. But in all honesty, nothing innately wrong with that. But there's times where I'm like, man, I'm going to go on to Right Now Media. And I've done that on my TV at the house. And me and the kids will watch something. And there's something
Oh,
that
yeah.
we learn
Value.
about God's truth.
Bible Man.
And
Value.
it's things like that
Yeah.
just
Right.
the simple choice of this over this.
Yep.
It doesn't have to be earth shattering in that one moment, but you string together a year or two of those moments, your kid's going to see the impact.
Yeah.
And one word of caution I would throw there, because I love these ideas y'all are throwing out. They're practical for people, but parents, you have to stay engaged.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
You
absolutely.
can't just turn them on to a show that's
Right.
good in the beginning, and then 7 episodes in, they're
Yep.
introducing homosexuality
Yes.
Yep.
or something like that.
Yeah.
It happens all the time. Some
Yep.
of the well-known YouTube and PBS shows
Yep.
that
Oh,
started
yeah.
out pretty clean, wound
Yeah.
up turning.
And it's something that everybody deals with. I know Dude Perfect, they have an app and
Yep.
they vet everything that comes. They have kind of biblical standing in there, and they vet every YouTuber that they allow to come into their app, and they end up having to remove somebody because they started to
Yeah.
waver, right? And
Yeah.
so
Right.
even them keep things accountable, and then I determine what is allowed in my house, right? And so they have permission for the Dude Perfect app, but they have to get approval for each person that they watch on
Yeah.
that app, right?
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
just being intentional about
Right.
keeping accountability for what comes into your house.
Yeah, and you again, that puts a lot of responsibility on you as parents. You have to know what you believe first
Right.
before
Yeah.
you're protecting your kids. I'm gonna give you a perfect example. Last week, millions of Americans watched Kevin Costner put out a show about the first Christmas. Tuesday night special. He paid for it, produced it, all this kind of stuff. I watched it just to see. I was pretty excited because I've read articles that Kevin Costner, who started out in church as a kid, was kind of coming back to his faith, and I don't doubt it, don't question it, but several things that were taught in that show, as good as
Yep.
it was, were obviously anti-biblical.
Yeah.
And I was like, he was taking some liberties with the story a little bit. they kept repeating the idea that Mary, the mother of Jesus, was perfect and sinless, and I was like, no, that's not
False.
biblical at all.
Yeah.
So you just gotta know.
Yeah.
You gotta know if you're gonna be guiding your kids.
And your kids know if you're trying to put on an act because they see the other days of the week too.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Exactly. All right, so we're gonna wrap up today. Probably come back. I think maybe next week. We are close to winding up the series. We've just kind of been playing it by ear.
Yeah.
I hope it's been helpful for you, and I hope you'll join us for next week's episode, where we're going to be talking about again some more practical stuff, even ideas about when your kids could be ready for social media, if they are ever ready for social media. I'm going to suggest.
I've been
45
stewing on this. I've been stewing on this lately for my own self.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like us, follow us, share the podcast. Hope the content's been beneficial for you. We would love to hear your comments, even thoughts and questions about some of the stuff we've been talking, or even ideas for future shows that we'd love to bring to the table for you. We love you and hope you will join us at worship over the next few weeks, 8, 9:30, and 11. We'll see you next time.
Bye.